Hi guys, Joe Magnotti with AdSense Flippers once again, bringing you step 6 of the migration process, or testing the new server, which is pretty important. There are basically 3 good ways to test your new server on the GoDaddy platform. One pretty rudimentary way is to simply use the primary domain's subfolder that you placed everything into in the hosting account. And go to that for a preview. So something like the primary domain in the hosting account I was moving it to is called trybpo.com, and the folder I put all the files in is AdSense Flippers, all capital letters. Now, that will make sure that WordPress is connected to the right database, that you can bring it up, but you might get stuff like a 404 error, and the site is going to look pretty bad because it's not going to have all the correct links. The second option, which is probably the preferable option, especially if you have a primary domain already in the other hosting account, is to create a subdomain of that primary domain. So something like AdSenseFlippers.trybpo.com. So we can do that fairly easily in the Hosting Control Center by simply logging in here. Going to your account, clicking on Domains, and then clicking on the primary domain, and then click Add Subdomain. You'll type in something like AdSense Flippers, and you want to create or select a folder. You can click the Browse button. Sometimes this little green box here takes a little while to load, so just give it a minute and give it some time, and then you go ahead and select AdSense Flippers, and then click OK. I've already added this, so I'm going to click Cancel here. And then that will take some time. You'll get a pending status. It's fairly quick to create subdomains. They're within 5 minutes. And that will go ahead and create a nice subdomain, AdSenseFlippers.trybpo.com, where you can actually see the entire site. Now, the links will refer back to the live site. So if you actually clicked on a link, like all posts, you're going to see you go to AdSenseFlippers.com. Okay, so if you want to test that particular link, you'd have to come in here and put AdSenseFlippers.trybpo.com and go ahead and test it that way. Now you'll see that some of these links are broken. Don't worry too much about that. Those data files are going to be carried over and are going to work effectively. If you have a site that's coming from another provider, you can actually do a trick that works quite effectively on your own computer only to fool your computer into thinking the site exists on the new hosting plan even though you haven't moved it yet. So that would require you to add the domain to your hosting plan over at GoDaddy. However, because GoDaddy is a shared hosting system, you can't have 2 domains in multiple hosting accounts. So AdSense Flippers is still on the old hosting account. So if I click Add here and I try to add AdSense Flippers, and I pointed it to AdSense Flippers, you would see I'd get an error message. Error domain name is used. Please select a new domain name. And that's because it's added to the old account. Now, if it wasn't added to the old account, I'd be able to add it over here Or if it was on a different provider like Bluehost or HostGator, I'd be able to do a little trick, which is editing your host file on your computer. The host file can be found in Windows, System32, drivers, etc. hosts for Windows Vista and Windows 7. For your particular provider, excuse me, for your particular operating system, you'll have to search for it on the internet. But this allows you to temporarily point to a new host for a certain domain. You can do that by finding out what your IP address is. So we'd come over to our hosting control center. And we know that our IP address is this for the primary domain. And just copy that, come back over to our host file, and put the IP address space the domain name. And now every time this computer goes to AdSense Flippers, instead of going to the live site, it would go to the new host. And that's a great way, if I was able to add AdSense Flippers to the new host, to test that out. Well, that's it for the testing section. If you have any questions, just let me know.